Hello, lovely people. It's Nicola back in the Stitches and Slapdashery sewing room. It's another beautiful day here in British Columbia, Canada, and I have a whole day off to do with what I wish. Yes, my family will expect to be fed at some point, but apart from that, I can have lots of fun. I have a feeling this vlog is going to be mostly, if not totally, about the slow-stitched drawstring bag. I started it in the last vlog. I got some of the stitching done, and I'm continuing with it today. Having a lot of fun. Really hooked on this slow stitching. So I'm taking you along with me as I add all the different stitches to it. I pulled out an old needlecraft book of mine from about 40 years ago, and it's been giving me some inspiration for a few different stitches to add. Yep, I'm in my happy place right now, and I hope you enjoy coming along for the ride. Look at my lovely open fishbone stitch in progress. I've got a little bit more inventive with my embroidery stitches, because what I did was I dug out a book I've had for absolutely eons. I'll bring it over here. So this book, Good Housekeeping, Step-by-Step Encyclopedia of Needlecraft. Oh, and now we're just wobbling because I've got you on a tiny tripod here. There we are. So, this book I've had probably since I was 21. What's that? Over 40 years now. Good grief. Has an embroidery section. And I thought, why don't I look for some different stitches to do? So there's this fishbone stitch here, but I preferred this open fishbone stitch. So I'm doing that. I'm making a leaf. And then there's all sorts of other ideas in here for different things to do. Tons of things I had forgotten about because it's been so long since I looked in this book. Different ways of doing chain stitches, making them look a little bit unique. Now, the one I was thinking about when I mentioned in my last vlog about a fern stitch, I meant feather stitch. This is the one I was thinking about right here. So now that I've reminded myself of how to do that, I think I need to add it in to this project somewhere. So the plan is, I drew, I'm using my friction pen again, just to help guide my stitches on here, because otherwise I think I'd have made the edges really wobbly. And this is really easy. So let me just get this under my eyes so that I can get my needle in the right place. So you just start at the top. So you have your outer leaf shape and then a couple of inner lines. And so you're just going from the outer edge to the furthest center line, and then the outer edge to the furthest center line, and just alternating. Just making sure that you cross over your little lines from the, or stitch from the previous thingamy. What's going on here? Isn't it typical? Got a little tangle. Oh, I've got a little knot. That's not good. Haha. Hopefully it's one of those ones where you can just tug it and it disappears. Oh, it's not either. It's actually a knot. Okay, just a second. The knot pulled through the fabric, so I'm not going to, this is a lot of knots. I'm leaving it there. I'm hoping it's going to be okay. So when you've come out from your outside edge, you've just got to go across to around here. And you can obviously space it how you want it. So I'm going in there. Yeah, it's going to have to be a little tug to get the knot through. So like that. It makes a kind of a tropical leaf look, doesn't it? I'm trying to do this through the phone, so I'm not going to get it in the right place in the right time. Okay, so you come out on the outside edge. Again, fighting with the fact that your embroidery thread has a mysterious knot in it, which wasn't there before you turned the camera on. And then you just got to go across here to the other line there, just making sure you're covering this bottom of the previous stitch. Oh my gosh, now I'm getting all looped up and what? Something's not right here. Oh, the challenges. Challenges of being a crafter, I tell you. Sometimes it's just a bit much. I hope my microphones behave a bit better this vlog. It was making a very strange noise last time, out of nowhere, or when I was talking about the crochet. I'm not sure if it was just reacting to the fact it had yarn near it. But when I was talking about the beanie, it went very muffled briefly. It was very annoying. Oh, there goes the pin that was holding that corner down. I knew that was going to happen. I knew that I would end up catching those pins. Now, on the basis of what can go wrong will go wrong, which is, as you know, Murphy's Law, I might just end up with this knot landing on the very top of my work, which would suck. But let's hope not. It's very satisfying, isn't it, seeing that thread go through the cloth. What's that thing that people call? Oh yeah, ASMR. Do you get ASMR when you watch people do certain things? I do. It's funny, when I mentioned it to, I don't know, I think it was Mr. Stitches a while back, and I talked about ASMR and how people are doing those sorts of videos sometimes where there's just the sound of what they're doing. So they might be cutting fabric or cooking food or something like that. And the sound is just hyper focused. And you get that nice tingling in your scalp. I always used to get that. In fact, I'm sure I still do. I get that from just watching people draw or colour or paint sometimes. Oh, such a lovely feeling. And again, I'm not happy with where that stitch landed. Honestly, when I adjusted that other one, it took me forever to figure out which strand I was supposed to be pulling on to get it out again. Well, that was a little frustrating. Anyway, it's finished. I just gave it a tiny little press with my tiny little iron, which got rid of the initial friction pen marks from the running stitch and also from the leaf. Not perfect, but I like it. So what I did once I had done this leaf is I just did a running stitch around and then around. So I think what I'm going to do is fill these little bits here, or not fill, but anyway, add some little groupings of French knots right here. Now, French knots, the size of French knots is just dictated by how many times you wrap the embroidery floss around the needle. So I'm going to do 3. That's what I usually do. And you wrap it, and then you've got to kind of keep attention on the thread as you go back as close as possible to where you came out. Keep control of it. When you pull it through, you get a cute little knot like that. Fun. It's more fiddly when you're trying to do it by looking through a phone. Oh, I think I might have let that one get away from me a little bit. Oh no, it's fine. Now, the last vlog literally only published at 6 o'clock this morning. So I don't know what you guys all thought of that, but I hope you enjoyed it. I was thinking, as usual, that I would be finishing this project during that vlog. But of course, slow stitching projects take a while. And yes, this is really hard when I'm trying to do it while looking at it through the phone camera. As I said in my last vlog, I'm trying to be a little bit more mindful and a little bit more patient and not rush things. Hand stitching kind of forces that on you, doesn't it? Definitely forces it on you. Oh, where'd that come from? There we are. So, in case you haven't seen that video, what I'm using here is some linen that was originally a bleached white linen. It was left over from making a summer top, and I tea dyed it the other day. I had this little idea in my head for a nice little natural looking earth toned project. So I also tea dyed this Ada cloth here, which was also a bleached white, and I did this little tiny embroidery on it. I used a rubber stamp of a flower, which I stamped onto the Ada and then cross stitched over. And then I did the green and then the running stitches attaching it to the linen and batting. And now I'm just working around it, just as I feel the urge. And I'm going to have to look at a few more pages in my embroidery book, because there's lots of lovely stitches in there and I don't want to go mad. I mean, the beauty of the slow stitching is that it can be mindful and beautiful even with something really basic such as the running stitch and some French knots. But I don't think it hurts to branch out a little bit now and again. So for this next line of stitching, I decided to use a variegated thread, which is of course tangled up with a whole ton of stuff. I'll show you the skein more clear that way. Rather lovely. And I'm doing a chain stitch. So for chain stitch, you've just got to hold one of your thread bits out of the way. You're going back in where you came up and coming out a little ways away. My stitches aren't particularly short, so you're making sure that when you come up that this thread is underneath the needle, and hopefully you're not getting it caught all over your fabric like I am. So hold it out the way, go back in where you came out. I drew a line this time because I just knew it was going to be all over the place if I didn't give myself a guideline for this. Just because I'm slapdash doesn't mean I'm always slapdash. Yeah, I like that. Oh, I didn't show you my French knots. Look, there they are. Because I was doing these ones off camera, they were twice as fast as those. This is the downside to long bits of thread. They catch around everything. How do those YouTubers who do everything so neatly and beautifully get it done right the first time? Or maybe they don't. Maybe they just edit out all of their messy bits. I don't edit out all my messy bits because this is real life, folks. Okay, I'm going to pause while I finish that line of stitching. I rather like the way that variegated changes as you work with it. I literally had just enough to get to that point. That's all I had left when I finished that row of stitching. So now I'm going to have a little play with herringbone stitch. I think I'll get this pin out of the way because I just know I'll catch it otherwise. So I don't know. Is it cheating to put the lines in? I don't think it's cheating. I just want to get a nice even result across the bottom here. So this is going to be the bottom of the bag. I'm going to be boxing the bottom, so it's going to be pretty close to the bottom, but that's okay. I've drawn 2 parallel lines and I'm going to start at this point here. Now for herringbone stitch, you go up, across, and then take a little bite out of that. Now, I may not get this very even. I'm not sure about this because it's been a long time since I did anything like this. So I'm thinking, let me have a look at the picture in the book. Yeah, it looks like this and the next stitch should come out probably right above each other. So I'm just going to take a little bite and try and line up where my needle comes out with this. I don't suppose it matters. Artist's choice, right? Ooh. Oh, I'm just loving this so much. Okay. Oh yes, mustn't have unlike the chain stitch, you don't want to have the, good grief, pin. You don't want to have the yarn or embroidery floss wrapped around the needle. Oh, that works. Oh, so lovely. Yeah, there may well be some inconsistencies in here because I'm probably not going to space my stitches all exactly the same. But things made by hand should look like they're made by hand. They shouldn't look like they're made by machine. People on Ravelry are sometimes people on Ravelry will say, "Oh, your stitches are so even, it looks like it's made by machine," or "I wish my stitches were more even." But you know what? It's made by hand and it's supposed to look like it's made by hand. Obviously within reason. I mean, yes, sometimes things come out and they just look too homemade. Oh, you hit my scissors. There's a difference, I think, between homemade and handmade. Homemade can often be a bit of an insult. Handmade, on the other hand, is a piece of art. Or am I just being silly? I don't know. The herringbone stitch is done. It came out all right. I'll get my little iron on and get rid of those lines at some point. I have to think about how I'm going to fill in some of these areas if I don't want to do all running stitch. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of the little scraps left over from some of the other bits and just do some random little filling in things. The next stitch I want to try is the fern stitch. It is this one. It looks straightforward enough, right? You just make a little stitch and then 2 more stitches and then just keep on repeating all the way down. So I have given myself a guideline for that. I just put some little crosses in there, some little plus signs. So yeah, now for the fern stitch. I'll get started and then I'll turn the camera back on and show you how I did it. I can see this one is going to be hard to get even. So yeah, making a little stitch across the line, and then you have to come out and kind of eyeball where you want your little frond to stick out on the side. And then you go back down into this spot. And then out here. And again, you've got to try and estimate where to come out to make it look similar to your other one. Oh. So I have a feeling this is going to be a very erratic bit of stitching on this part. That wasn't too bad. That one was maybe a little short. Anyway, I'm trying to make my center lines a little longer so that they're not kind of crowding each other and they're not, looking like they're all just bunching up. This is where the guideline is really helping out. I'm using my brain now. I'm using my spare magnetic pincushion to keep my needle where I can see it in between bits of sewing. Why didn't I think of that before? Oh, look at this. Isn't it pretty? Oh, my linen is fraying something chronic, honestly. Anyway, that was my fern stitch. Oh, I really enjoyed that one. I think even if you do embroidery not so perfectly, it still looks good. I plan to embroider the back of the bag as well, but it won't have this extra little piece on it. It'll just have stitching and no cross stitch. Yeah, I'm loving it so far. I did 5 little flowers because I do love odd numbers. And I know that normally when you anchor down the top of the petal, you make this a teeny tiny stitch, but I deliberately elongated it just for a bit of variety. And seeing as I've got a little bit of this orange still left on my needle, I'm just going to go and add a line of running stitch from the flowers over to the other edge. And then I'm going to take a little break because I've been sitting here quite some time now. And I need to run up and down the stairs a couple of times and have a stretch and probably get myself a cup of tea. Another thing you need to remember to do is every now and again, whatever you're doing, if it's sewing, knitting, crocheting, or whatever, pause and look at your work and admire it. My next attempt is going to be a feather stitch of some kind. I'm going to try and do it without a safety net. So what I think I need to do is I need to come out about here, and then it's going to be a loop that needs to be caught down. So let me see. I think if I keep my thread like that, I need to refer to the book. So I think you should. I don't know any should involved, but I think if I come down a little bit, and then I do this, I'm going to want to offset my stitches a little bit. Oh, this is going to be challenging. Okay, let's just start and see what it looks like. Okay, so there it is. So I think what I want to do is I want to kind of alternate which way they go. So that means that I would want to go over here and go in, out this way, and then come back to the middle-ish. Oh, this might look terrible. Hang on, I'm changing my mind about that. Okay, so I want it to kind of make a cup shape, but not have the top of the cup in the same place. Let's see what that looks like. Honestly, don't overthink it, Nicola. Just oh yeah, that definitely didn't come out right. I should have aimed to have it come out here. Okay, well, I just learned something worthwhile. So what I need to do is go in around here and then come out down here. I think that'll work. Definitely didn't work that last time. Oh, okay. That's not bad. Sometimes it's hard to visualize it until you've actually done it. All right, so out to the side and then sort of back to the middle-ish. Yeah, I think if I try and keep this going in maybe a slight zigzag pattern for the central part of the stem, that would look quite nice. Ooh, that doesn't look so bad. Okay, this bit, I'm trying to fill in this triangular bit, but I haven't really decided what I'm going to do, and I keep changing my mind. So I started with a little line of running stitch, and then I think what I might do is just do some vertical lines that gradually get longer as I have more room. Maybe put a little petal of some kind at the top. I don't know. I'm off to the side here, aren't I? Oh, that was wonky. So I put some vertical lines in there. I was about to say horizontal lines, vertical lines. And I've decided to bring in some yellow. I might do little stars. How about little stars? So just like a little three straight lines to make something that looks like a little flower, maybe. And I might pop a bit of yellow in the center of those flowers up there too, just so that it's not just in the one place. Oh, pretty. Here's my little yellow flowers. So rather than add things to the already rather busy and bulky centres of these flowers, I'm just going to add some yellow running stitch to the top part, bearing in mind that the top 1 centimetre or 3/8 of an inch is going to be hidden in a seam anyway. So I'm not going to worry about adding anything to the bottom of this. My sides are fine. This is going to, my seam allowance is going to come to about here, so I don't think I need to add anything else in here. So yeah, it's just going to be a little bit more running stitch, which I think probably will start here. And then see how that works. I'll probably do the back of this off camera because it's just going to be more of the same but simpler. And this is already running on really long, this video. I already edited the first part of it and it was getting long. But I have been finding it very relaxing to make this, and even editing it was relaxing because I was watching myself stitch and thinking, oh, even just watching somebody else do it is relaxing. So I think I'm just going to fill in the whole top section of this with yellow. Which basically means maybe one more line of stitching in the yellow, and that'll be the front done. So once again, I will have left myself nothing to work on when my friends come over tomorrow. Well, that's not true. I can do crochet. I could save this for tomorrow, couldn't I? Maybe that's what I'll do. So today I will add another line of yellow at the top, and that will be finished. And maybe what I'll do is I will save this piece for tomorrow morning when I'm having stitchy time and coffee time with my friends. And I'll do something else for the rest of today. It's Friday. It's 2:00 in the afternoon. Had a lovely morning. I am so highly caffeinated right now. I'll try not to speak at 3 times my normal speed. So my friends came over today. I was expecting 3 and I got 6, which is awesome because some of them I haven't seen in months. Our schedules just haven't coordinated, so I'm really happy that they made it over. I'm upstairs in my dining room right now. This is where I had everything set up. I made tea, I made coffee, I made fruit salad, trail mix. I didn't bake today. And I got a whole bunch of art supplies out. I had my scrap bag up here and some batting and some embroidery flosses in case they wanted to stitch. Nobody did. And I also got some gel pens and various drawing implements and some paper out just in case anyone wanted to do that. But mostly it was just drinking tea and coffee and eating snacks and getting up to date with everybody. It was great. So I reheated the last of the coffee. Once I'd cleaned up and loaded the dishwasher and everything, I heated my last of my coffee, added a little bit of soy milk and maple syrup, swirled that down so it didn't go to waste. And yeah, it's pretty hot outside. I think I've got the ceiling fan on, which is why you can see the blind. Maybe you can see the blind moving on my left here. My left, your right, maybe. So in the end, I think I was the only one who did any sewing or any crafty stuff this morning. So after I finished this guy yesterday, which I absolutely love. Yeah, I haven't got a ring light on. This is just daylight, so it's not very clear, is it? Today I worked on the back of the bag, and I do have enough of this tea-dyed linen to do the lining, I think, so that's good. I won't have to try and figure out what on earth I'm doing about the lining now. So this is what I've done so far. Can you see that? I did a lot of running stitches. I did a couple of flowers. I did this leaf, which is that fishbone stitch again, which I really like, and some back stitch. And then I did this flower, which is like a double lazy daisy flower with a few little French knots inside. I'm happy to say I've already set up dinner. So I've got lasagna in the oven. I make what I call a slapdash lasagna. Well, what do you expect from the channel name, right? Stitches and slapdashery. Slapdash cook too. So all I do with a slapdash lasagna is I cook the lasagna pasta, obviously, lasagna noodles, and then in the Vitamix I'll do the tomato sauce, which is just really basic, you know, can of tomatoes, can of tomato paste, herbs, salt, pepper, that sort of thing. And I even threw in some leftover mushroom and red wine sauce from the other night, just so it didn't go to waste, because no one was eating it. So I blended that up in there too. And then in the food processor for the ricotta, I just blitzed up some tofu and salt, pepper, basil, lemon juice. Normally I'd like to put a pile of spinach in there, but I didn't have any. And then I just layered it all up with adding in a little bit of parsley in the layers, because I forgot to put it in with the tofu, and some sun-dried tomatoes and some olives, and then the Daya cheese on the top. So I did it in my big cast iron casserole dish rather than a large rectangle, because I knew that the sauce would overflow if I did it in a rectangular lasagna dish. So it's a nice deep casserole dish, and it will not be able to escape. And I set it up on the timer, so it will go ding at 5 o'clock already. I just have to make a salad or some broccoli to go with it, which is great, or maybe both. Could do with some extra greens today, I think. One thing I do have to do this afternoon, in addition to my sewing, is I do need to do a workout. This is the last Friday, or rather the 5th Friday. That makes sense? The last workout day of week 5. There you go. So this is my last workout day of week 5, and I have to tell you, bribing myself with yarn is working beautifully. Really well. So just saying, if you feel like getting into an exercise program and you need some extrinsic motivation, yarn works great. So I know this is an odd angle, but my regular sewing table is covered in a quilt right now, which I am hand quilting very badly, I might add. It's sorry to say, slapdash. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I've got my 2 outer pieces. I've got my 2 little drawstring channels folded in half and pressed, and my 2 plain aligning pieces. So here's the plan. First I need to hem the ends of these. I think probably one of my, I'm just going to use a little scrap of the linen to give myself a little leader here. Okay, and then I'm going to do a quick double hem on this without pressing. I'll just finger press it. With some fabrics, I think you can probably get away with just folding them once, but linen loves to fray. It's very weird working at this table. A long time ago, I added this nice vinyl to it, as well as my sewing table, so it looked prettier when I was filming. And then I stopped using it. It's usually my cutting spot. All right, just need to attach this to here relatively centrally. So I did have to trim a tiny bit off this just to make it nice and straight. So from my 7 3/4 by 6 3/4, I ended up with 7 1/2 tall by 6 5/8. I put lots of pins because the stuff is, elusive. Oh, good enough. All right, now we're just going to put the lining. I don't think linen really has a right and a wrong side. It looks the same, both sides. So we're just going to go with it. It skews terribly when you're handling it. You have to be assertive with it. Okay, so I've done right sides together in theory, with the channel sandwiched in the middle. All the raw edges lined up, and I'm going to sew from this side because I think if I sew from this side, it's more likely to get all stretched out. I have two bits sorted there. Now all you do is open it out, put them face to face, and try and line up your seams. All right, so I think what I will do is I'll leave the turning gap along the bottom edge. Oh, and there's a little bit of batting lying around, so we don't want to incorporate that into the inside of the bag, do we? And fraying bits everywhere. Okay. Oh, yeah, I didn't want to move that because I know it's going to mess up the alignment with the camera. Okay. Let's just start where the gap is going to start. Oh, heck, what have I just done? Okay, it's just hit something. Why did it just jam up? Okay. All right, it's working like that. It definitely should not sound like that. It seems to be sewing all right though, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and attempt to get this finished. Honestly, this should have been like a 10-minute construction job and it's turned into a 40-minute one. Now I'm just going to do my boxy bottoms. I'm just going to draw a line on each side. I'm going to do a 1/2 inch box from the seam line. Just want it to be a little bit of dimension at the bottom there. I'll do it on both sides. Get that broken needle out of the way there, Nicola. There we are, now I can see better. Well, that was a nerve-wracking experience because I was expecting the needle to break at any second. Right, I think we're nearly there. This is my favourite part. Birthing the bag. Yeah, that's about right. Good. Obviously, I don't want any machine stitching showing on the outside of the bag, so I won't be doing any top stitching. Just going to machine stitch across this part. But that's going to be buried down in the bottom of the lining. So we've come to the end of another vlog. But before I finish up, I need to let you know that as it's my birthday weekend, I'm going to have a little giveaway. And this is the prize. So if you'd like to win this, you need to do a couple of things. I'm going to make you work for it a little tiny bit. If you're on a TV, you're going to have to go to your phone or to your laptop or your desktop computer, because I'd like you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, which, by the way, doesn't cost you anything. All it does, it just means that you'll get my channel added to your homepage on YouTube so you can see when I do updates. It's free, honest. So like, subscribe, and leave a comment under this vlog. And what I want you to comment is, tell me that you've liked and subscribed, and wish me happy birthday. That's easy, right? So once I get a whole bunch of comments to do a draw from, I will do a random picking. Let's say in 2 weeks' time. I'll give YouTube's algorithm a little bit of time to catch up with sending my vlog out into the YouTube sphere. And so what's it today? I'm going to publish today. I think it's the 22nd today, August 22nd, 2025. And I will give you 2 weeks from today to get your comments in and let me know that you liked and subscribed. If you're not already subscribed and you do subscribe, I do get an email, so I'll know whether you've done it or not. For every person who subscribes, I get a notification. And yeah, that's it really. So if you'd like to win this little drawstring bag, do that. Even if you don't want to win the drawstring bag, I love to read your comments anyway. So that's great. I promise that if I mail it to you, and if you're in the US, I will definitely put it as a gift, and I will put a very low value on it so that you don't get hit by this new de minimis rule that a certain president is putting in place from the 29th of August. So it will fly under the radar, okay? And because it's nice and flat, I should be able to send it airmail to anywhere in the world for a reasonable price, and it should get there pretty quick. So thank you very much for watching as ever. I hope you enjoyed watching me make that bag. I had some challenges with my sewing machine there, and I really don't know why, so I'm going to have to unthread it and play with it and see if I can get it working properly. Maybe put my other foot in there. Sometimes with the walking feet, they just don't play nicely together. I don't know why. I will say though, my little Dritz Mighty Iron, which is currently tangled around my chair, my Dritz Mighty Iron was absolutely perfect for ironing inside here. Not sponsored, just really enjoying having it. I put off buying one of those little irons for so long, and now I'm so glad I have one. So next time, I'm sure I'll be showing you the update on the string-pieced quilt, which I am currently in the middle of quilting. I'll show you more beanie progress. I did do a little more on it last night on the couch. And yeah, whatever else I've been doing. I'm planning on quite an active weekend, so I will obviously get a little bit of footage from whatever activities I do this weekend as well. See you soon. Bye for now.